Hey again, everybody. Bruce here with more views from Tumortown. And today I want to talk about pro wrestling. And I know, what you might be thinking, me, pro wrestling, whatever. But when I was in elementary school, Saturday afternoons were ruled by Championship Wrestling from Florida with Gordon Soley on television. It ruled. It rocked. And my buddy across the street, Barry, he and I were into it 150%. We loved it. We knew it was fake. There was no question about that. But we just loved the theater of it. We just chewed it up left, right, and center. I mean, we even went and we got a box. We took a pillowcase and made the canvas over it and made the ring posts and the turnbuckles and the ropes, and we would take our little, Roy Rogers and Tonto toys and we would play wrestle in there and beat them up, and then get the ketchup out for when he's bleeding. Oh my God, bleed, that was the deal. I mean, we knew the deal and we loved every minute of it. And one of the greatest things about that was that Barry's dad was just one of the sweetest men you would ever want to meet in your entire life. There was not a better human being than him. And he would take us every now and again down to the armory downtown to watch the wrestling live. And that was something. Oh my gosh. That was like the event of the year when that happened. And this was, one of those bowl, kind of buildings, everything around down to the floor. And you had the little ring with this big old spotlight that just boom, lit up the whole ring. Everybody was smoking, so it was hazy inside there. The noise level was just perfect for all the crowd yelling and the whole 9 yards. But you could still hear the wrestlers in the ring yell. And it was great. And his dad, Al, would take us, and Al would play it up, Oh, I'm just here because I want to see scientific wrestling. Real, oh, they're cheating. Oh, look, he gouged his eyes. Oh, that's so horrible. Oh, that's so terrible. He would goad us on. And, we would, oh, come on. They're going to go, blah, 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 blah. Because we were into all the moves that the bad guys were going to pull, all the tricks they were going to throw up. We couldn't wait for them, It was just fabulous. I mean, that was an environment that will stick in my mind forever. Because it was just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience. And, we got to actually see Lou Thez perform, do a match down there, And we saw all of our guys, our normal guys, Eddie Graham and Sam Steamboat, Wahoo McDaniel, the Infernos, the Medics, the Great Malenko, Levon Stroheim, you name it. We had them. At least, our circuit, our guys from the NWA. It was just wonderful. We loved it. And of course, as I got into middle school, that kind of went away. Although I always, would tune in to wrestling on Saturday when I was in front of a TV. I mean, why not, right? Whatever. Catching up with Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, and the gang, whatever. And it stuck with me through high school as well. And once I got into college, every now and again, I would go. They tore the armory down and they moved the wrestling out to this, Sports Palace place, they called it. And we would go out there every now and again when there was a real match on. When it was a cage match, bull rope match, chain match, whatever it was, something heavy was on the line. And you were talking, one of the big deals, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, the Funk Brothers, somebody. When you knew there was going to be blood and gore and it was going to be best 2 out of 3 falls, you went. So we went and we would sit, top row ringside, so you could jump right over, go grab a beer, get right back up, boom. Perfect place to be. Loved it. And, when Rock and Wrestling Connection, became popular, I remembered it, and I ended up having to go to one of the WWF events with somebody for some reason. And I was so disappointed, because it was such a big arena. and you couldn't see anybody. Everything was so small, and they all spent more time babbling than they did working in the ring, you know. And I was like, nah, you know, it ain't what it used to be. Those guys in the old days, they were workers, you know. If it was a 30-minute match, you were getting 30 minutes. You know, that was the way it went. And so, you know, I haven't really been to a wrestling match in a long, long time, but it stayed with me for still to this very day. I mean, I can't say that I am not fascinated by wrestling. Now, later in life, in the 90s, I got the opportunity to actually do wrestling from a video standpoint, which was great. Eddie Mansfield, the Continental Lover, which some of you may know from wrestling history, as the guy who blew the whistle on the fact that wrestling was fake and paid a big price for it, right? Led to the whole 2020 thing with what's his head getting slapped and all that sort of stuff. But I knew a guy in town who was a lawyer who was very much into wrestling. He put me in touch with a guy Jerry Gray, who was doing a wrestling promotion at the fair, and he wanted to turn it into a TV show. So I went out and we actually did it as a TV show, you know, Battle Under the Big Top. And the funny thing was, his commentator bailed on him, so I ended up doing my best impersonation of Gordon Soley for 90 minutes as the narrator of the event. And my buddy stepped in and did the directing and switching of the cameras, and did a great job. I mean, John was excellent at that. So we didn't miss a beat in that respect. But it turned out that people that I was working with came in and had little bit parts with me, as the color guys and this and that, or a manager on the side of the stage, blah, blah, blah. It was pretty funny. But it was a great experience because I loved, wrestling. So, that was just a lot of fun. And then I got introduced to Eddie Mansfield, and Eddie was starting the International Wrestling Federation, which he was going to do at Universal Studios. And this was his idea. I mean, it's being done now by most all of the wrestling guys, but he was the one who came up with the idea. You got to give Eddie credit. You bring in, you shoot during the day, so they just get people who are there attending Universal Studios. Hey, come in, sit in here for an hour and watch a show. Watch a wrestling show, and then you go out. You'll come into the air conditioning, rest for a little bit, and go. So that's what we did. And we did 5 shows a day. I think overall we did close to, I want to say 70, 80 shows, maybe more. I can't recall. We did, I think, 4 taping runs or 5, something like that. So, that was just a dream for me because, we went in, was the video guys. So we went in, set up our video stuff, our video cameras. I called the cameras, called the stuff, worked with the wrestlers. So we kind of knew what was going to happen. So we were clued in. We didn't always get to be clued in as good as we should have been, but, whatever. And, so I was involved in it, and we did all the interviews and all the shtick and all the stuff. So it was just a wonderful experience. It was very stressful because, it was done on a shoestring budget, and the money was never there the day it was supposed to be there. So you were always scrambling, to get the money, get everybody paid, and get the deal keep moving, But in the end, it all went through. And that was just an incredible experience for me in those wrestling things. And I had a ball doing it. And I had my brother-in-law was one of the camera guys, and my buddy Vivek. And it was just a ball. And of course, Howard, Howard loved it. He laughed so hard when he was doing it. He just thought it was the craziest thing in the world. So, that was my biggest thing with wrestling. But wrestling has been a part of me, and I just wanted to mention it because it's been a part of my life, and I love it, and I think it's just a great deal of fun if it's done right and done well. And I'm glad I got to do the things in it that I did in my life, and I'm grateful that all happened. So thank you, Eddie Mansfield. Thank you, Jerry Gray, for those moments. And thank you, Gordon Soley, and all the wrestlers of the NWA for making my youth so much fun. Thanks. Peace, everybody. Hang 10.